This is Heavy Conversation with Bruce and Jody, a podcast where we talk about being a big guy in today's world. I'm Bruce. And I'm Jody. Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. All right, here we go.
There we go.
All right. So we're still getting to know each other, Bruce.
Yes.
So I had this really crazy experience at the movies the other day. I went and watched Deadpool 2, and I loved it. Deadpool 2. I don't know what I just said before that.
Deadpool Tool.
Tool. I know. I was like, wait, what? And I wanted to know do you like comic books? Do you like superheroes? What's your deal with that?
Yes. So I'm a comic book nerd. I've been into them since I was a kid. So seeing all these Marvel movies and these things that I used to read to kind of get away from life has been amazing. And it's pretty cool to be, in my late 30s and be able to see those things now.
Late 30s, huh?
Yes.
I thought you were still early to mid 30s.
38.
Oh, wow. Look out.
I know.
I'm 39. Woo! I know. So I loved the new Deadpool 2 movie.
It was great.
Yeah. They had this little chubby kid that was so amazing. He was like kick-ass, like bad guy, good guy, kind of, I don't want to give away anything, but it was awesome. I love the fact that they had this chubby kid in this movie that was kicking ass and like funny, and it was great.
You don't see a lot of fat superheroes, number one.
No.
And you don't see them portrayed in a positive light.
Yeah.
So that was good. The actor's name is Julian Dennison.
Yes, he was great. He was in some weird movie that I started kind of watching.
Hunt for the Wilder People?
Yes.
I think that's...
Wilder, whatever.
Is that right, judges?
Hunt for the Wilder People? Yes. It was good.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know. It was great. This new movie. But yeah, talking about there's no big superheroes. So I started trying to do some digging about superheroes, like big superheroes, and there really weren't any. And I don't understand that. Like, why should it matter what your body size is to be a superhero? If you have these mutant powers or whatever, however you got them, bit by a spider, you could be a fat guy or girl or whatever and still have superpowers. Like, I don't understand that. What should it matter?
I think early on it was kind of reflecting culture that, when you thought of superheroes, they were bigger or they were strong, they were ripped, they looked like Superman.
Yeah.
And when you did see bigger plus size superheroes or characters in comics, they were villains or lazy or something along those lines.
Well, I wouldn't even mind if they were villains. Like villains are cool. Mm-hmm. They can be cool. They're like an important part of the whole story. You couldn't have superheroes without the supervillains.
Sure.
Who are they going to fight? Who are they going to save the world from?
So I can think of a couple.
Okay.
So
I'm glad you're here because I was like, I can't think of anything there.
From the X-Men comics, Blob, who is a very, very large, blobby character.
Wow. Thanks, X-Men.
Yeah.
Blob.
Yeah. He was
he kick-ass though, at least?
Basically huge and hard to knock over. And
okay.
He could use his girth to take people out.
Okay, I like
basically
that.
where that's at.
Nice.
Yeah. Wilson Fisk from Daredevil. What is his... Anybody got that name?
No.
Why
Sorry.
can I not remember it? Kingpin.
Oh, yeah, Kingpin.
Yes. Kingpin from Daredevil. Bigger guy. Generally a bad guy.
Okay.
But I believe in the comics recently he was mayor of New York. So whatever that's worth.
Right. Yeah, that could be good or bad.
Good or bad. Could go either way. I was a big Marvel kid and less about DC. So a lot of the characters I'm thinking of are Marvel characters. I'm sure that DC has somebody representing the fatness, but I can't think of who they are.
So I watched another one of my, so I'm not a huge comic book superhero person, but I do love a lot of the superhero movies, the Marvel, X-Men, DC. I honestly, I'm sorry, everyone. I don't really know the difference of all those worlds, but I know I'll probably get a lot of hate mail for that. But I do love the Thor Ragnarok. That was another one of my favorite ones. And there was a bigger guy in that, a Thor sort of world character that he did something with the gate. He put his sword in the thing.
Oh, Scourge? Was he the one who ended up with
Volstagg?
Oh, Volstagg. Yes.
Volstagg. Yes. I was like, I don't even know what his name is, but yeah, he was a bigger guy. He was kind of cool.
A moment of silence for him because he was cool, but he died. Oh, that's probably a spoiler for another movie. Sorry, everybody. Hope
if you haven't seen,
right?
That's too late, too bad. But I thought he was a big guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he wasn't like a main character, but
in the comics, he's huge. He's very round.
Okay,
he is absolutely a fat guy, and it's great to see that because he's one of the Warriors 3, which is like these. They basically fit in with Thor. One has a sword and kind of has like looks a little bit like Errol Flynn. If you don't know who that is, Google. Then there's the bigger guy, and then there's another guy who is kind of like one of the Huns, and he's got this whole hat thing going on. But I love it. Volstagg is big, drinks his beer, definitely feels like a Viking character, and it's great. And recently in the comics, he became a Thor, which you can do if you get the hammer. If you can actually get a hammer, hold it. It changes.
There's all these rules that I don't know about.
There are indeed.
But that's good. I mean, they're superheroes. They have to have rules, too.
Yeah. And he was a pretty hard-ass Thor, kind of mean.
Yeah.
The War Thor.
War Thor?
Yes.
Yeah. I loved that movie. It was hilarious.
That was a good movie. Yeah. So those characters come to mind. There's also a team called Alpha Flight that is Canadian. It's Canadian superheroes.
Maple syrup. Way to go.
That's right. Canada can't be left out. So Alpha Flight has a character named Puck, I believe. And I've seen different iterations of the guy. And he's looks short, stocky, not quite as big, but I think for all intents and purposes, you're thinking, okay,
we'll accept it.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a plus-size
What world is that one?
That's Marvel.
Oh, that is Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was Googling earlier about plus-size superheroes, and there was Big Bertha from Marvel. Did you see her?
Yes. I want to say that she is part of the Great Lakes Avengers, and she's a plus-size model in the new comics, which is really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of a cool one. At least, I mean, I don't like all these names. Like the Volstagg, that's a cool like Viking name, but Blob and Big Bertha, but
sure. Little on the
Kingpin
nose.
is good. I like that one.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, The Thing.
Yes, I guess you could definitely say the Thing is, is a big Rocky character. Yeah. Please don't go by the movies and the way that the character looks in the movies. Especially that recent one.
Who was the guy that played him?
The guy from The Shield.
Yeah, the commish. Was he the commish guy too from way back?
Yeah.
I think that was the same guy. I don't know what his name is.
Bald guy. He also played Curly in a Three Stooges biopic.
Yeah, biopic.
Yes.
I hate that word.
I know.
My partner says that word too much.
Oh.
So we're going to continue to talk about some superheroes, but I wanted to crack open this amazing Miller Lite that we have here today.
Perfect.
One of my unfortunate go-tos when I go out, when I'm like, you have way too many taps and I can't decide, so I'm going to have a Miller Lite for now while I decide on the real beer I want.
Cheers.
So cheers to this amazing thing.
We are working our way up in the grand scheme of beers.
Up and down. And
yeah.
It's a roller coaster ride of beers.
I don't think you can just stick with certain kinds. You have to be able to kind of slum it with your beers too.
Yeah.
Because there are some great low-end beers. And there's some great high-end beers.
Great low end.
Yes.
What is your great low end?
I am a big fan of Stag. So, being from the Midwest and living in Illinois, I remember seeing Stag when I was a kid, and it is swill. It's so bad. Blatz is another one.
Never heard of that.
Blatz is, I believe it's a Wisconsin beer, and it is, it's cheap and it's evil. And it's everything you want in a
cheap and evil
shitty beer. So
yeah, your supervillain beer.
Yes. It is a supervillain beer.
See how I tied that back?
I like it.
To superhero talk?
Yes.
Another one I saw, I don't know, there was some weird, I've never even heard it, but Pink Pearl from Alpha Fight. Do you even know what that
Alpha
is?
Flight.
Sorry.
Yeah. The Canadians.
Oh, is that the same one?
I guess so. I'm not familiar with Pink Pearl.
And there was Slug from Captain America.
Slug, Blob. They
I know. Come
were
on.
able to stick with a very specific theme for
superhero people.
Right.
Where's... Oh, I got to think of a witty thing. I know. I was like, and nope.
I will say that comics have changed in the years since I was reading them as a kid. They are really pushing to be more inclusive, to show different types of people in different situations, to be more reflective of modern society, which you have to do if you're going to try to keep writing comics and creating these things and make stories that aren't just for kids. And they do a good job with that. So I'm sure that there are probably more stories about bigger people or plus size people out there. They are still few and far between. There is one that comes to mind, a superhero named Faith, who is a plus size superhero.
I think I saw a little blip about her.
They made a big deal about that for a while, and I read a few of those, and it was good. It was very inclusive, and the main focus of it wasn't, hey, this is a fat superhero. It was a thing. It was an aspect of the character.
It doesn't have to be the thing of their character. Like they can still be a superhero or supervillain or villain or whatever, and just be big and then have some weird power. I mean, these powers are weird.
Absolutely.
I also think that the superheroes are kind of reflective of who's writing those characters. They started like 40s probably or sooner. A lot of white guys writing about, the war. It's kind of about, Captain America was about patriotism and, war heroes and all that kind of stuff. So I think there's a little bit more of a shift of like who's writing them. So I think there just needs to be more voices actually writing the stories and being in there writing about them. And, so those can be translated into movies. There needs to be more diverse voices actually writing the stories than just, white guys writing these stories.
And if you look at, especially again, Marvel fanboys, so if you look at Marvel and what they are doing, they're bringing in people from all walks of life. They're bringing in authors. They're bringing in people who write for magazines. They're bringing in people who aren't really writers, that have different experiences of different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different genders, different orientations, and they are doing a much better job of reflecting that. And I've been really interested in reading some of these stories and following these storylines because they are just being more reflective.
Yeah.
It was totally all about whiteness when I was a kid.
Right.
Straight white superheroes, and that was it.
Yeah.
That isn't the case as much now. You're really seeing that they are starting to think about that.
In the comic books themselves.
In the comic books, Black Panther is definitely...
That was huge.
Yeah, right.
I mean, why did that take so long? I don't understand that.
Ta-Nehisi Coates was writing that. I don't know if he still is, but it was an award-winning run where he was really able to put something into the character that just wasn't there before.
Yeah.
And that's great. Speaking of thick superhero characters in Black Panther, I can't remember his name, the dude who lives in the mountains.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty
The wolf guy?
Yeah.
Was he a wolf?
No, not a wolf.
But he was up in the cave thing.
The leader of that group
the
that
other
lived
group.
up there. Yeah.
I'm bad with remembering names, but yeah,
same.
He was kind of a bigger guy. I mean, I wouldn't
call him fat.
I wouldn't call him meat, but he was stockier.
Thick,
But I don't even think you need to rewrite or come up with new characters. You have these, they might not have great names, but you could bring them back,
right,
and tell their stories. Have another twist to this Blob or Big Bertha or Kingpin. Like, bring them back. We want to know their story.
And they do write compelling stories with these characters, especially Kingpin. And the way that Kingpin was portrayed in the Netflix show. I don't know if you've seen Daredevil on Netflix. They did a really good job with him there. With the dude from Law and Order. The crazy guy.
We're doing really bad at this.
I know we're horrible with names. This is yes.
You know who we're talking about.
We may have to link to some of these things.
Yeah.
Do something here to kind of show these. Sorry, guys, we're
giving you more work.
Right.
But also, I don't want them to be just like the side character that you can kill off, or like this comic relief sort of thing.
Sure.
Like, make them a main character. Make them someone that people are going to get invested in. Or invested, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to know their stories. I want to know more about than they're just there to be killed off in the first episode or the first scene or
absolutely
whatever, you know.
So I consulted Google, and the character who played Kingpin on the Netflix show on Daredevil is Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I was like, yep, that's his name.
Who I could see in my head.
I was like, I see him, but I can't. I'm really bad at that.
Right.
So who else? Who else was your... Well, who was your favorite superhero just in general? Did you have a favorite? Do you still have a box of your favorite comic books?
I think that my mom sold all my... I
Mom.
know. And I had some
Versus
old ones.
Mom.
I know. I know, Mom, if you're listening to this, how dare you? Since my name is Bruce, Batman was big in my life early on. I was definitely...
I was going to say Bruce Banner.
Right, Bruce Banner. I was definitely into X-Men comics because I think the overall theme with X-Men, with the X-Men in general, is just being other and not feeling like you fit in. So
yeah, I identified more with the X-Men, feeling like the outsider, kind of the... I mean, I think maybe I was reading into it, but I felt like they had those like sort of gay undertones, sort of same sort of situations to the whole stories. But yeah, I kind of identified with that a lot.
Yeah, I think that was really what it was about. It was about having to hide yourself, being afraid of persecution, being afraid of being who you are, and being able to be that person in the world, and
showing your true identity to the world, and
absolutely
not hiding.
So that was always interesting to me. I think those characters really stood out. I don't know that I don't have a favorite now necessarily. I just kind of I like all of them. I like quite a few just for, different personalities, different characters, different dynamics, that kind of thing. And it's just fun. I mean, going to see those movies, it's just fun. It's just fun to go and see and veg out and watch and be...
I did not see the latest
Avengers.
What? I know. I do get a little overwhelmed with all these super huge, big fight scenes.
Sure.
I feel like it's overdone too much. Whoever this director is that likes all these explosions and big fights, I'm just so over it. Like, I love that in Deadpool when they're like, oh, here's the obligatory fight scene. And they just like called attention to this CGI thing. And I was like, that's hilarious. But like Wonder Woman, I thought that was great because it was like a story that wasn't really told. She was always sort of a side character, I felt like. I mean, she had a comic book, but never, And then Black Panther was another really great one. There was a, big fight scene that was like, okay, great. But I like the stories that haven't been told. I've seen Superman, I don't know how many times. Everyone knows how it started. Why do we
Don't do it again.
What else does Spider-Man do? Done?
Here's the thing that I think is going to happen very quickly, and we will continue to see more of this. Is comics aren't only about superheroes. That is the most popular part of this. So we're able to see those explosions and people in tights doing their thing, but there are more nuanced stories that can and should be shared, that I think we're going to see more of that kind of stuff get out there, where it's going to be less about explosions and punching the bad guy in the face and more about relationships and experiences.
Yeah,
and dealing
you're not saving the world from annihilation every day. Like, that would be exhausting even for a superhero.
Sure.
There's got to be the little fights, the little things,
I do also feel like it is, it kind of mirrors what we see in plus size fashion and body acceptance, and the mainstream kind of taking notice of some of those things and saying, okay, well, this is what a plus size male model is to the mainstream audience. Yeah. We're also seeing that with steps in these movies. They start out being one specific kind of way. Then you start to see Wonder Woman, Black Panther, and you start to see different kinds of characters and different stories being told. I think
people are demanding other stories.
They want that. Yeah. Everybody, we want to see ourselves reflected, and we want to see other people. It's not always this one very specific.
It's boring now. That story's been told to death.
Right. absolutely.
Literally. Like, I'm kind of over the big epic fight scenes.
I think we will always get those because I do think that those right now are our adventure film. That's our Indiana Jones. It's our, E.T. kind of thing. That's what it is right now. I don't think it'll be that forever, but I do think that we're going to see other stories being told, and we're starting to. We're starting to see things like that where it makes a difference, and we are sitting with those characters, and we're getting more in depth, and it's not just this, flying character who saves the day.
Yeah. And I love that, Wonder Woman and Black Panther did so well, because I'm hoping they'll start doing more of that and less of the every character from every world is in this movie. And I'm like, what? I don't care. I don't even care anymore. I'm sorry.
The fact that they were able to pull that off in Avengers, that they took this 10 years of films that they did, pulled all of these characters into it, that hasn't been done. So I've got to tip my hat to that. The fact that they were able to pull it off, put these stories together, make something that was cohesive, and put it out. I think it was fun. It was fun for that. It was really interesting to see that. And if you've been watching these movies and you're invested in those characters, then seeing what happens there was really cool. But I can't imagine they're going to be able to do that forever.
Again, yeah. I think maybe it was the one before it that I just was like over it. And so then I didn't even give this newest one a chance.
I really liked this one. It was very different from what I expected.
Which one is this called again?
Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'll have to check it out.
It was very different from what I expected. And the story that is there was interesting. They are getting better at creating compelling villains and actually giving them a story. No, this is not the most in-depth villain that has ever been created.
Right.
And for tons of people, my high mark for these movies is The Dark Knight and everything that came out of that.
Okay.
The way that they put together, knowing that a superhero movie could be this serious heist kind of movie with Heath Ledger as the Joker in a way that nobody really expected was amazing.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, seeing that and seeing what they could do there, I feel like that kind of set a high bar for everything else. And Marvel movies aren't that, for sure. They definitely aren't focused on the seriousness.
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm craving out of it.
Yeah.
Some high-level character development or something that makes me more invested, or like I learned something new about that character or something unexpected.
DC hasn't been able to replicate that since those movies. I mean,
I think that was a talented actor too. I think.
Yeah. And the director, you get Christopher Nolan on these movies, making the movie that he wants to make around Batman and around that character. Yeah. It's something else.
I think that has a lot to do with it too. I mean, I love the characters and, Thor and all, I think they're doing a good job, but yeah, I think I just need something unexpected. Yes. I feel like a lot of these movies are spoon feeding the audience a little too much. Sure. And I want something, I don't want it to be a happy ending. I want, what is that called? A French ending when everyone dies or whatever. Like, I want something different.
Then you should go and see Avengers if you want that kind of ending.
All right.
Spoiler.
Oh, well,
I think that we will start to see more nuanced films. I feel like they really did the job of this last decade has been establishing this world and these characters and giving people what they expected out of this. And people wanted that. They wanted to be able to see that. So now it is time to branch out and show that there's more nuance and there are different characters and different experiences there, because those are the things that you need to do to be able to continue doing this for another 10 years.
Yeah, I guess you got to get that fan base really attached, and then you can maybe start telling a different story, because you'll pull more people with you when you start telling this other story, maybe.
Right.
Because there is a huge loyal fan base, and they're going to go see it, and it's going to make bajillion dollars, whatever. So maybe they're going to bring us back and tell us some inspiring story to get us through what we're going through.
I think they will. And I think it has been these kind of baby steps to, like I said, establish it and, not to tie it into plus size and body positivity. But it is, I feel like we are doing kind of the same thing. We're in that similar sort of place where we are laying out, hey, this is a thing, and it's a thing that you can enjoy, and that you can see what this is, and it's something that you can accept. This is the beginning of a world. It's the on-ramp to so much more.
Okay.
So you start with this one step, and then you go from there, and you get into deeper stories, and you show more.
Yeah, I want deeper stories out of you, Marvel and DC.
Yes.
X-Men, whoever you are. What was that guy? Well, who is that? Who is that guy that's always showing up? The
Nick Fury?
No, the old guy that's always doing the cameo.
Lee?
Stan Lee. Yeah. Yes, I love that.
Yes,
I'm always waiting for that. I'm like, where is he? Where is he? I know he's going to be in here.
Right.
It's like that's one of my favorite parts.
It is. It's fun.
I don't know.
Little Easter eggs.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
All right, everyone. I think we got some of this superhero talk out.
Yeah, I feel good.
I feel good. I feel a little bit better. I feel like Marvel and DC are going to start putting the Big Bertha and Blob and Kingpin in some more movies.
And I'm always down to talk about, comic books and all this kind of stuff.
Comic books, superheroes.
Yes.
Well, if you have another superhero that you love that we didn't talk about, please send us a comment and let us know. Rate us 5 stars on iTunes when you subscribe and listen to this.
That's right.
And we'll see you on the flip side.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Heavy Conversation. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.